So today we'll be building a weather app. So I have built the basic layout designs. It's a very simple one. A text view, it will display the temperature, and there is another text view. It will display the weather status like heavy rainfall or snowy or cloudy. All this status will be there. You can enter the city names or latitude, longitude, or whatever you want here, and you can use a button to search the city and display the temperature. So it's quite an intuitive design. But for this weather, I need some data. Where will I get those data? Because I don't know what's the weather of this London city or Chennai or Mumbai. I don't know. So there must be a store point, a storage where this data will be stored. Those are called servers, right? So where will I get this server? I searched on the internet and found a few free APIs for weather, which we can use for our demonstration purposes. So this is the weather API I found out. It's a free version. You can see, you can go through these docs and find out. It's very easy. You just need an authentication, a key API. Uh, if you go to dashboard, you can see this API. If you copy this API, it will be used in these latter purposes. You got a base URL, and there are lots of things you can do like current weather, forecast, autocomplete. You can see past histories, time zone, sports. But for today's session, we're going to use this one. So this is the base URL. This one is the base URL and the endpoint. And we have to pass some query parameters. That is the key, which I'll copy from my dashboard, and this query. Query, I'll pass these city names like this Paris and all. So you will get the temperatures. So let's quickly open Postman and let's make a request to the server. So this will be a GET request. There are many requests you can see, but this one is a GET request. Let's copy the base URL. So copy this, Control C, paste it here. Okay, it will be HTTPS. This is the base URL and the endpoint is /current.json. Copy this endpoint, paste it here. So our URL is ready. It's a GET request. And I think we need to request parameters. In parameters, we have key and a query. So let's give these parameters. Okay, these are the parameters. You pass here this key and a query. So what is my key? You will get this from your dashboard. This is API key. Copy this. Okay, I think can copy it entirely. Control C, paste it here. And what is the query? Query is like, you can also pass latitude, longitude. You can pass city names. I'm passing this city name. Suppose Paris. Copy this. Paste it here. Let's send the request. Yeah, see, it's easy. You have got the response. If you clearly look at the response, you will see it's a very big JSON object. Inside this JSON object, there is this location object, and there's this current weather object. Yeah, this is another object on its own. But for our app, we will display this temperature in Celsius, and we need, what more do we need? We need this condition, that is light rainfall. So these two data we are going to display in app. So let's head over to Android Studio and try to extract these things from this JSON object. Okay, we have come back to Android Studio. This is our design. Okay, but you must be knowing that before making a server request, we need a library that can establish the connection between client and server. So for Android, there are many libraries like Retrofit, Coil, Volley, many things, but I'm taking the simplest one, that is this one. This is called the Fuel library. Yes, this is the very new one, but it is the easiest of all. You can just go to the dependencies, copy this dependency. What is the latest version? Latest version is 2.3.1. So put the latest version here, copy this dependency, Come over to the Gradle file. This is the Gradle file. Oh, paste your dependencies over here. So you can see I have pasted the dependencies, and Gradle has automatically downloaded the dependency for me, all the required files. You no need to do anything extras. So head over to this. Let's write the logic. At first, the user will enter the city names. Where will the user enter? This is the input field. User will enter the city name here. User will press the button and the data will be displayed here. So at first, we need to get the city name from user. So this is the ID of the text field. On pressing the button, this is the button, right? Okay, this is the button. So button whether, wait for the suggestions. Yes, we want to set on click listener what happens when the button is clicked. So when the button is clicked, I need to get data from this is text field. This is the ID. Get data from this ID. Okay, so name, yeah, dot get text. We're getting the text from this input field and converting it to into string purposes. So we have input location. We got the location from the user, one single line, and we have the location from the user. Now we need to send it in our API call. So let's get a function. Let's make a make a function call. Get whether and pass the input location. Input. We'll make this function here. Private function, and the function name is get whether. It takes a string. So input location is a string data type. And it returns nothing, it just displays the data. Sorry. On clicking the button, we will get the text from user and make the API call. So come back here. Now, when I said fuel is very easy library, so because I really meant it. If you go to this documentation, you will find you just need a URL and call .http get and handle the response. It's easy. So we need an URL and a key value. So store them val URL, sorry, URL, then we have a string. What is the URL? What was the URL, by the way? This one was the URL. Yeah. Copy this. Was the entire URL, and there was a key, val key. What was the key? I also don't know. It is here. You can easily look up whatever you need from Postman. Copy this. This was our key. Paste it here. Okay, this is not the safe way of just hard coding the values in your directly in your activities. But I am doing this for making this demonstration easy. So URL, I need a get request. So HTTP get, yes. And we had a request, we had two request parameters. If you look in Postman, we have two request parameters. So it's a list of parameters. So list of key values. What are the keys? This key is mapped to this one, and this queue is mapped to this one. So a list of key is mapped to our this key value, and queue is mapped to suppose an input location, right? Whatever the user inputs, we will send it in our server. Request parameters. So we have made a HTTP request, and these are the requests. So at this line, you are confirmed that the request goes to the server. Now you need to handle the responses. What happens when success response is the response you are getting, and what happens when you are a failure response you are getting. So handle the response string. there will be one thing called response. This one. There will be a request. It takes a lambda request. Sorry. Oh, sorry. Control Z. Yes. This is a lambda function. It takes three things as parameter, and you have to handle them one by one. This is the request that you have sent. This is the response you have got, and this is the result. That is either a success or a failure. Very easy. Now, what happens when the result is result dot success? Sorry, what was that? Yes, it should be option called success. It's not giving. Okay, let me try it once more. Result. It should be in this Kotlin dot. Yes, this one. It is success. What happens when it's a success event? And what happens when the result is a failure event? Is result failure? Is result failure? Yeah, very simple. Yeah, it's the entire structure of your server request looking like. You have sent the request and you have handled the response. What happens when the result is success, and what happens when the result is failure? So when the failure, let's handle the failure thing. When it's a failure, we'll pop up a message, an error has occurred. So let's pop up a message. It's called a toast message. We need this reference to our activities. That is, what's the reference? Called this. What message you want to display? Like, oops, error occurred. We will display this one. We'll see the So this is the message, and what will be the time duration? This pop-up will get displayed. I'll display it for a long time. Suppose toast dot long. Yeah, and now show this error message. Sorry. So yeah. So we have made a toast message. It will get popped up if the result is a failure. Easy. Now what happens? Let's come to this success block. What happens when the result is success? Yeah. What happens when the result is a success? We will get an entire JSON thing. We will get this JSON object. We will extract this attribute. Which one? This temperature in Celsius, and we'll extract this text. So let's get the JSON object and extract the attributes. So the JSON object will be in the result dot get. So this gives you a string values. Convert it into JSON. Val JSON object. JSON object. We're typecasting this thing in a JSON object. Whatever result we're getting, let's typecast in the JSON object. So we have got the JSON object. Now I want to get this temp. Get this. I have this entire object in the result. From this object, I will come to this current object. Now from current object, I'll display this one. So this is a little bit of nested thing. So from the JSON object will get the this smaller JSON object called current. Yes, this is another JSON object inside the bigger JSON object. So we've got this smaller JSON object called current, and from the JSON object I have an attribute called this temperature Celsius. So dot get string. Yeah. This is the name of this attribute. So get the string. So you got the temperature in Celsius. Yeah, that's easy. You got the temperature in Celsius. What about the weather status? That is this one. How to get this one? So from this bigger JSON object, I will get this smaller JSON object, and from this smaller JSON object, I'll get yet another smaller JSON object called condition, and from that smaller one, I'll extract this text. So it's lots of nesting over here. So let's do this one by one. From the bigger object, I'll get this bigger object, I'll get this current object, and from this current object, I'll get this condition object. So this one, JSON object. We've got this condition object, and from condition object, we'll get this text. So it's a simple string. So we won't have any problem. Dot get string. So we have got this current object condition. Yes, we've got the val. Sorry, control set val weather status. Weather status. So we have got the weather status. We have got the temperature. Now display it in our text view. Very simple. What was our text view? Okay, I'll display it here. Its name was TV temp, text view temp, so text view temperature. Display it over there. Temp dot set text. The text will be what happened? Set text. The text will be this temperature. And what about the weather status? This weather status. What was the ID? Yes, TV weather status was the ID. So TV weather status dot set text. But setting the text to this weather status we got from the JSON object. Everything is set. Our success event is handled and our failure event is handled. So let's run our app. Okay. On setting the text, I also need to display that degree Celsius, that small degree symbol at the top. So where is this degree symbol? So just I need to concatenate this small degree symbol. It will look good. Otherwise, it's not an issue if you don't do anything like this. Yeah. We're just concatenating this with whatever temperature we're getting. Yeah. If you just run this app for now, I think you will get an error. I think you will have a little bit of problem. I'm telling you why. Whenever you're making this type of server requests, it is always advisable to do this in a separate thread. If you are using some different libraries, then you have to manually do this. But it happens. But as we're using Fuel does all these server connections and requests in a separate thread. So you don't need to do anything. Whatever you have done here, everything occurs in a different thread. It is not on the main thread. It's on the background thread. So from background, access UI elements. So we have to tell compiler specifically that these two lines are UI elements. Every line, but these two lines will be related to our UI. So we have to tell this that run this on UI thread. Run on UI thread. Yeah, this one. Run on UI thread and do this. That's that. We have to run this on UI thread. And this toast also, this will not be displayed on the background thread. This has to also be on the main thread. So run on UI thread. Okay, so make it like this. Now we have got done the task in background and the setting data, getting data, everything on the UI threads. So let's run that and see how it looks like. It's running. Where is our device? So this is our device. It's running, still running. It was a pretty simple stuff so far. Taking time to run. It's complete. It's complete and it has launched. UI. I am closing, opening it again. So let's open it from the very start. So this is just the first look of our app. Let's try entering down some city names. Suppose enter the temperature of suppose Kolkata. Kolkata. We have entered data. Now let's click on this button. On clicking the, I have clicked the button. Yeah, 23 degrees Celsius, and it's a mist. It's easy, peasy. You can test another city, just any city in the world. New York. Now I click the buttons. Yes, it's 1.7. Oh boy, it's so cold over there. You see, it's easy now. You can also you can do this latitude, longitudes, no issues. Suppose 80.67, comma. Sorry. At first we latitude and then longitude. Suppose sorry 24 degree latitude. Suppose 81 degree, 81.5. Let's search the city. I don't know which city it is, but let's search it out. Okay. I don't know the name of the city, but coordinates 24 degree north, 24 degree east, and 81 degree north. This is the temperature, 71.6 degree, and the sky is clear. You can whatever you feel. It's now easy. Moscow. Okay, it's minus 11. It's okay. That's easy. I have only the temperature thing. You can extend any of this data, whatever you feel like, and display it on the app. With them, feels like cloudy, humidity. You can get past data, forecast, whatever you want. Auto search features. Easily play with this API. Let me get your queries if you have any. Okay. Are we going to use volley for? Okay. Fit volley, this coil library, then well, I just found this fuel easy, so I did this for demonstration purpose. But for production level apps, I generally retrofit because it is much more stable and much more, I'll say, industry ready. Link to the API. Yes, of course. Is your APIs. Copy this link, and yeah, Arnab has sent it. No issues. I'm sending again if you want the docs. Oh, is it much easier in Dart? I have never explored this. I can't believe there's nothing like. Okay, there must be this one. Okay, can this cause race control the find weather button? Okay, I think it will get queued up, code in the queue, and sent to the server one by one. You will get the responses. I'm not sure about that. Tell me if you have any problems with studying these codes. All clear. Then I'll hope you will try to make many on your own and try to explore this fuel library. Yeah, I think this was all for this today's session. Although it's very simple, it looks very simple, but lots of complex features are involved internally. We don't need to do those, but do those. I think it's clear for today's, it's all for today's session, but I want to know the status of our app making because submission starts from 4th January. It is 10th, but we expect all the students to submit between 4th Jan till 8th Jan so that we have 2 days to decide which app will go for final submission if any improvements are needed. So I expect all the students to submit this app between 4th January to 8th Jan, and any student who have completed all the course study tracks can DM me for getting that certificate one, because as you have completed a course, you are entitled to get that certificate. So I'll provide you with the one. Just let me DM, just DM me with your Google profile link so that I can go over there and check for myself whether you have completed the course or not. Yes. Mm, uh, no, I think that's all for today's